Welcome to another CineFix Now Roundtable. We are sitting in a room together so that we can talk about a lot of stuff, and it's going to take roughly 20 minutes of your day. This week, what do we have to talk about? Not a lot, right?
I got nothing.
Batmobile.
Every time I looked for news, I just saw another tiny bit of insignificance about some sequel. So that's what we're doing this week. We're doing the sequel bucket.
And this roundtable is like the sequel to the last time we had nothing to talk about.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
Therefore, in and of itself, it is a sequel.
Yeah.
No News Week, Part 2, The Reckoning.
Even the Batmobile is pretty much just sequel news.
I think we probably talked about a Batmobile in the last one. I'll have to go check on that. But since Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice, something else.
How much better would it be if it was Dawn of the Dead? Batman versus Superman, Dawn of the Dead.
Fan mashup film, call for entries.
That was Zack Snyder's best movie.
I know. That would actually give me hope for the movie.
So the new Batmobile looks like it's got guns in the front.
Which seems weird to hang over a baby's crib.
You're right. Maybe you hang it upside down and you look at something cool.
For those of you at home who are wondering, it is in fact very late in the afternoon as we film this.
Right. Well, why are we hanging it over a baby's crib?
Mobile. It's a mobile.
It's not very good.
Like I said.
It's late in the afternoon.
That was a terrible pun.
Now I'm just trying to make one that's worse about a city in Alabama. I don't think it's going to happen. But look, that's the news that we're left with this week. Is we got a new looking Batmobile. I mean, it looks like super weird and future.
I'd like, if I were into models, little miniature models, I totally want to make that miniature model.
It looks like the Nolan Batmobile with a little bit of the classic Batmobile
with two guns up front.
Yeah.
With cannons.
Yeah, but he's trying to I'm assuming we're still on the assumption that he's trying to kill Superman. So he needs giant guns.
Well, it is Batman versus Superman.
I mean, yeah, Batman doesn't otherwise use guns, so that is an interesting little. But
I don't use guns, but my car does.
That is the thing about when you see a tweet of a photo that's then news. You're sort of left to speculate about the movie based on a little iota of its visual style.
Other sequel thing, a couple that we can legitimately really speed through.
I mean, it's kind of got the doors. I'll go back to the Batmobile.
Okay.
It's kind of.
I was trying to get us out of there.
It kind of has the doors on one of those cars that you can never afford.
A DeLorean.
It's not. No, it's not like Gull Wings. It's the kind of
Oh, it's the Lamborghini door.
Suicide doors.
Suicide doors.
So as to commit suicide.
No. Suicide doors are the ones that open front to back. Yeah. These are Lamborghini doors.
Yeah. Point is, I think this is going to be the hardest Batmobile Lego set to put together to date.
That's true because Lego technology is improving every minute.
So many pieces.
Every minute?
Literally. Wait. It just got better.
They just added another 3 pieces to the deluxe set.
They're still the same shape, guys.
All right, we gotta get out of here. We got to.
The other thing that passes for news this week, Robert Downey Jr. said that there's no Iron Man 4 in the pipeline.
I'm fine with that.
But it's weird because he also doesn't really want to give up the role.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of shit or get off the pot, dude.
I don't think they're gonna reboot. I think they're gonna try to continue, to do the comic book kind of continuity, where
they'll reboot eventually.
No, where I think they'll kill Robert Downey, Tony Stark in Avengers 3 or 4, and then someone else will step in.
Or he'll just pop in and out of everybody else's movies. I mean, I don't think there's any reason why
until they kill him.
I don't think there's any reason why he can't just continue just showing up for the Avengers movies. And then in the comics currently, or not, I don't know if it's anymore, but in the most recent version of Guardians, Tony Stark is hanging out with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
Way the hell out in the universe.
Just smoking pot and eating biscuits.
Exactly. And banging Gamora.
Yeah. They've dropped hints about how Guardians is very closely tied into both Avengers 2 and 3, and then Guardians 2 and Avengers 3 are very closely tied in together.
And apparently there was a rumor that the post-credit scene in Iron Man 3 was actually going to be Tony Stark receives a transmission from deep into space that teases Guardians.
Right.
But they didn't know his contract situation was still way up in the air at that point, so they didn't want to promise Iron Man Guardians team up that they couldn't ever do.
Basically, this doesn't necessarily feel like news because if I were in charge of Marvel, I think I'd probably do this anyway. And B, it's Robert Downey Jr. just kind of said it at some point.
Yeah, he was, I think, at the Toronto Film Festival or something.
So that's like a non-news event announcing non-news.
And then again, even if
Welcome
Robert
to this
Downey,
week.
Even if Robert Downey Jr. is going to be in Iron Man 4 and is an Iron Man 4 Robert, it's not going to be for so long that of course it's not in the pipeline. Like nobody gives a shit about
Well,
it.
no, I mean everything's in the pipeline until 2028. For
Right.
Marvel.
Yeah, that's true.
If he was going to do
But
another Iron Man 4, even if it was in 10 years, he would know about it by now.
Some of them are just labeled
It's
movie.
Kevin Feige. No, I'm talking about like the
Oh,
whiteboard in Kevin Feige's office.
yeah.
The rumor that's got it all planned out for the next 15 years or something. Okay, so another one. Not actual news at all, but Orlando Bloom says that he would like to be in Pirates 5. We know there's going to be a Pirates
Well, I would like to be in Pirates 5.
Right?
Sorry, Orlando
That's what this
Bloom.
feels like.
Question, is this him stating that he'd like them to make a movie so that he can be in it?
Well, they're already making it.
But
And
But
he's
just
not
like,
in it.
did he just,
they're already making it, and he's like,
he just
I
brought
could-
this
could
up
I-
unprovoked though. Like
Yeah.
he was just like, hey, like I know we're talking about chicken,
This
but
was-
I would really like to be in Pirates 5.
This was Martin Lawrence saying, yeah, Bad Boys 3's a thing, is what this is. This is like, no shit you want to be in Pirates 5, because...
It's really weird because he's never broken out of those franchises in any way whatsoever.
He was in one Cameron Crowe movie that flopped.
he just doesn't seem to be cutting it as like a leading man for whatever reason.
Or a secondary man, or a tertiary man.
It's like we
He's
just
the
don't
pretty
want him.
boy with the kind of superpowers. That's what he does, I guess.
I think he was a good elf.
First of all, I thought that Pirates 4 was so bad that it and has been so long
I
that
tapped out after the third
4,
one.
5, 6 trilogy had been nixed.
It did. Okay, so here's what
I don't
here's
remember
what clearly
that
is
at
happening
all.
is the fourth one didn't have Keira Knightley or Orlando
No.
Bloom in it,
It had
and maybe
Penelope
they're like,
Cruz.
you know what the problem with 4 was? We didn't have Orlando Bloom or Keira Knightley.
I don't think that's...
I don't think anybody said
I
that,
think what
except maybe
happened-
I don't
Orlando
think
Bloom's
anyone
agent or
said that
something.
in the history of the world. You know what the problem is? We didn't have enough Orlando
Right.
Bloom. No one has ever said that sentence.
I don't know.
Pope.
I don't want to talk about
I
Pirates.
have a question. Do lawyers know how to write film contracts with fewer than 3 in chunks of fewer than 3 movies?
Not anymore.
We've
no.
got we've got Chris Evans with his 3-movie commitment. We got let's try a 4th Pirates movie and a 5th and a 6th because we don't know how to just write a one
I think
movie deal.
I think somewhere there's a crusty old lawyer going, oh man, in my day we only did one movie at a time,
One picture.
one picture at a time.
Well, no. back
Somebody
in
said
those-
let's make 3 pictures, and I said slow down.
Back in those days, you'd sign actors for like a 15-movie deal.
You would just own the actor.
Yeah.
Back in
Yeah.
those days, yeah.
And then you chug out 3 or 4 movies with
Right.
them every year. Like that's the thing that like people complain about, like the sort of factory model, like the sort of like Toyota car factory model of the studio system these days. And we're making way less movies than we were in the golden age of cinema. And most of them were awful. Like we don't remember the 300 movies that came out in 1965.
Every
remember
single
3 of
movie was
that.
Casablanca back in the day.
Yes.
Every one of them.
Having worked for a lawyer, I understand this. Like you've got to lock down your stars in priority
Just
when
in
you're doing.
case.
Yeah, because
Just in
like
case.
if you got Orlando Bloom and The Hobbit, you've also got to lock him down for this Pirates thing. Maybe not. Who knows? But like that's in the contract for his Hobbit thing is whether or not he's going to go do a Kingdom of Heaven too.
I bet you in the contract. Which we've just combined 3 different studios, though. Which is possible, I suppose.
Look,
no,
for a
that's-
good lawyer,
For a good lawyer, I can do it. I did that all the time back in my day.
Well, no, like
Get some girls, too.
back when like Christian Bale was doing Batman and potentially 3 movies worth of Terminator, it's like Batman gets precedence because he's committed.
Yeah.
He's
And that's going to
previously
end up
committed.
happening to Zoe Saldana, since anytime they need an alien hot woman, it's Zoe Saldana.
Look, I'm okay with that.
I feel like
I feel like there's other hot women, but
Oh, there
I'm
are.
also
There
okay
100%
with-
That
are,
is
but
her
I'm okay
bag
with it.
though now.
She's got it.
That's
She's
her
got it.
bag.
And
She's
she is
got a
not
lot
letting
to
go of it, and I don't blame her at all. The getting's good.
yeah, as soon as you
I'm
open
not-
that
I'm
door,
not
Rosario
complaining, I'm
Dawson
just
is just
saying.
gonna.
Somewhere Rosario Dawson is like, what about me?
I used to be.
I can kick ass. Done with Pirates. We're done. You were about to say something else,
I
but
was
too
gonna-
bad. We're done with Pirates.
I was gonna say,
Um,
she's the Christina to my Britney.
Shut up.
I really wish I didn't let you say that. No, I should have just plowed ahead. Next bit of sequel news that we have in the hopper, in the sequel bucket, 23 Jump Street.
Yeah.
23
No
Jump
surprise
Street.
there.
No big surprise.
But it kind of is a surprise because of the end of 22 Jump Street.
Right. Well, the credit sequence of 22 Jump Street was them on the idea of how many of these movies that they're gonna make. Like they did a 23 Jump Street parody, like a quick little vignette, and all the way up to like 30, 35.
Yeah.
Like they did a ton of them. It was really funny.
Well, and the whole movie itself worked because it was making fun of the fact that it was a sequel in the first place.
Right.
Like when you translate that joke into how ridiculous and stupid is it that there's a third one, like when does that joke get old?
I feel
Well,
like
it's not a joke anymore.
Right.
Because they're just doing that.
it's not a joke.
That movie
anymore.
has to have Joe Pesci, or it's not doing it right.
It's doing something very wrong if there's no Joe Pesci.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Look, I think he's right.
Yeah.
He's why Lethal Weapon.
He's why Lethal Weapon.
It's late in the afternoon.
Oh man.
Look, Lord and Miller are probably going to pull
Well, here's the
something
thing.
magical out of their ass.
We don't. The writer from 22 Jump Street is back to write it again, and there's no Lord and Miller aren't involved with it yet.
I bet they
It's
won't come
gonna
back
be the
for it.
Jaws 3
It's
of
gonna be the Jaws.
80s TV reboot.
It's going to be the Godfather 3 of the
You
Godfather.
think it's gonna be like 23D Jump Street?
Yes, I think it will be. I think you're completely
I
right.
said that. It'll be interesting though to see what they do with it, because the first one, the 21 between 21 and 22, they're sort of about very different things. So I'm curious to know what it'll be. It'll be about something.
It'll be about a Google internship, post-graduation Google internship.
Oh my god.
They're gonna go to law school, or be doctors, or study abroad. But they made all of these jokes in the credits.
It'll be Vince Vaughn and Sylvester Stallone. They've already made all these jokes. All these jokes have been made.
Yeah. None of these jokes have been made. You went Seinfeld on us there a little bit.
This is big.
It's fine. Look, we can move on.
Yeah.
Digging further into the sequel bucket.
so deep.
Top Gun 2 got a writer.
No.
Yeah, it did.
No, it's been so long.
Top Gun 2 got a writer. Bruckheimer and Cruise have both agreed on the guy who wrote Favreau's Jungle Book, not to be confused with Circus's Jungle Book.
Look, I love the first Top Gun. I am unapologetically pro Top Gun for all of the things that it does bad. I love it for its flaws. That's how much I love it.
Okay.
I love it for the volleyball montage that makes no sense. It's just like, hey, look, Tom Cruise is oiled up. He can get sweaty with the boys.
They're all
What about the
for no reason.
thing? That
Yeah, it hurts my teeth to do it, but I love it.
It's a great way to make a point. Doesn't matter what the point is. You make a point, you do the bite thing, point made.
I really think that Top Gun 2 is.
I hear you,
Is
man.
that
There's no way they'll fit Val Kilmer in a cockpit.
Honestly, like I feel like it's one where like there's enough stuff that's happened between the original and now that they could make a movie out of the drones thing, which we've talked about.
It's
Like,
gonna
But
be
it
drone
doesn't need
pilots.
to be
It's
Top
gaining
Gun.
support.
Why does it need to be Top Gun at all?
Because it takes place at the Top Gun Academy.
So you think it's gonna be Tom Cruise having to like dust off his old jumpsuit, his old flight suit
I
to
think
defeat
he's
drones?
gonna like be teaching at the Top Gun Academy.
Tom
or
Cruise has to
something,
fly
and then
against
he
a bunch
has
of
to-
young gamers who have now been recruited to be drone pilots. That's what it's gonna be.
I can't decide if I love that or absolutely hate that.
I can't decide if I hate myself for thinking of it right now.
I would watch that movie, but I don't want it to
Yes,
be
you
called
would
Top
watch that
Gun. I just don't want it to be called Top Gun.
Look, I do think that there has been the latest aerial dogfight thing was the sequence in Guardians. I think was
Yeah,
close.
that was pretty good.
That was pretty close. But there was like 3 or 4 other things going on there too.
Let's see some fighter jets.
Get some fighter jets up in the air and have them shoot at each other. Because Green Lantern sure.
There was
doesn't
planes.
Joe Pesci is why planes.
If you want to see planes so bad.
Come on.
Oh man.
Make the best.
Okay.
Now I really want a Joe Pesci playing.
Yeah.
Get out of my way!
I feel like this is like a Knight Rider spin-off, but it's just Joe Pesci voicing a plane.
Where are we going? Okay. Got it. Okay.
Hey, what the f*** are you shithead.
I'm flying here.
I'm flying here.
Am I flying to you?
I do totally want to see a Pixar movie.
How am I flying? How am I flying?
Where one of the characters' dialogue is just constantly like beeped out, like.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the R-rated Pixar is like the it's like a unicorn.
It's
you know?
still PG-13
Pixar with
rated,
remixes.
and the voiceover actor is still saying, "F the f***ing shit, you shithole, you sucker." But it sounds
what,
like.
Sucker. That's a good
That's
one.
Okay.
a good one. What is going on in
Look,
there?
I'm gonna have to bleep the first part of that, but it's not the C word you thought it was.
What are we
If
talking
you're
about here?
if you're still confused, it rhymes with runt suckers.
Yeah, exactly.
Or punt suckers.
It also rhymes with. Okay, that's enough. Top Gun 2. Okay. What are you talking about?
I really wanted
Here's
to-
moving on to the next drop in the sequel bucket here. Dredd 2 had some news
Yes.
this week.
That's some
Dredd
news.
2, according to Carl Urban, is going to be an origin story where he goes and he hunts down his the guy that he was cloned from, his clone father.
Oh, okay, so like a sequel, but still an origin story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they're not a Flash, not a prequel.
Okay.
Not necessarily a prequel. He was a little fuzzy on that, but he was talking about the story of like him, I guess, finding his origin.
So
Yeah.
you get more back. That's fine. That's what sequels often give more background.
okay with it. I got nervous when you said I groaned automatically when you said it because I like Dredd and I want to see Dredd 2 happen and I like Carl Urban. All of these things are good things, but I think one of the things I really admired about Dredd is that it didn't bother being like, let's spend the first movie telling you the origin of
Explain it,
Dredd.
yeah.
Like, let's just jump into this world and follow this character and start giving a shit. And it worked, I think. And I love it when movies do that. And
It
so-
worked as a movie. I don't know that it worked in terms of getting people in to see it.
Yes, fine. But I don't know if making it an origin story would have gotten more people in to see it either.
Here's the thing that I'm worried about though is like I always hate it when a movie is like really good, kind of catches lightning in a bottle, takes you by surprise, and then the sequel to it sort of like gets too hung up on its own mythology like of the world. Like Pirates had that problem.
Yeah.
Because the first movie was great, and we were all like, "Oh, hey, look at this! It's so much fun."
fun.
And then the rest of it was just like figuring out all this mystical.
Oh, well,
crap.
Barbossa's back because everybody likes Barbossas.
Or maybe a better example is what happened with Pitch Black and Chronicles of Riddick.
Yes.
Like, because Pitch Black was great, right? And it was low budget, kind of came out of nowhere, and I thought it was a great movie. And then they get all into this like, here's this like crazy world that Riddick exists in, and it was terrible.
Nobody cares.
Awful.
So that's a really tough spot because the magic of Pitch Black, I think, wasn't in the universe. It was just in a simple premise of like, you can't see shit. And if you do a sequel, if they had made a sequel, if Chronicles of Riddick had made a sequel where they put him on another Pitch Black,
Yeah, you can't do that.
but then we'd be sitting here being like, well, that was a terrible idea. Like, how do you even continue that?
Agreed,
I think
and that's my concern with Dredd, though. Like, I think part of and talking more about like part of what was great about Dredd is that it was like here we go.
It was
Like
just a
we just
contained
got into it. Literally,
space.
we got into it with him blowing away people in a high speed chase.
It could have been anybody. I mean, it didn't even have to be Dredd.
No, it didn't have to be
right?
Dredd
Like,
at all.
It was just a raid, but with a in the future.
It was a movie that was reverse engineered because of like the cool slow mo effect,
right.
and then they happened to have the rights to Dredd.
Yeah.
I think. I mean,
And
honestly,
then they
that's
watched
what
the,
it.
and
that's
then they
what it
watched the
feels
raid.
like.
I don't think it's like.
Well, no, it was in
Totally.
development before the raid.
Yeah, but then, you know.
But whatever. I mean,
But
point
watch
point is it was a contained movie, and then now they're talking about stepping out and going to find the guy who he's cloned after, and like it just.
It might
I
go
just
too
want them
far.
to be careful.
I love that we're talking about Dredd. We're not going to get a sequel.
Yeah.
And as much as Carl Urban would like to get, I'm sure he's got a vision board at home that has Dredd 2 written on it, and like all sorts of sketches of what he'll do.
Right next to a boat that he wants to buy one day and sail around the world.
We're not going to get it. It makes me kind of sad, but at the same time,
Yeah.
they can't ruin it.
Yeah.
It'll always be this like perfect little gem.
Right.
Well,
Next thing in the sequel bucket. Where was? Oh, there's Dredd 2. This is the thing. Real Steel 2. There's really no movement.
We got the whole spectrum of emotion. He's excited, she's like, whatever, and I'm like, fuck that.
Dude, Real Steel was a real good time.
It was
Yeah.
so bad.
The tagline should be Real Steel, more like real good.
It was real bad.
No, you know what was real bad? The last Rocky movie. Real
Both of them
Steel.
were real bad.
No, Real Steel was great.
It was
Real Steel was,
It was
better
exactly
than
what it
you
needed to
wanted
be.
it to, like, expected it to be.
No.
That said, I don't know if, I think it's probably just as well to just be like, hey, we did that, it worked rather miraculously, let's leave it alone and not try
Well,
to...
I should say that the news on this is that somebody asked Sean Levy. Somebody asked Orlando Bloom, and he's like, I'll do it. Somebody asked Sean Levy about it at I think it was the Toronto Film Festival, and he was like, yeah, we're working on it. Me and Hugh both really want to do it. Hugh Jackman, and he's a name dropper. But,
Hugh.
so it's like me and Hugh really want to do it. We're working on getting the right story put together, and we really want to try to do it. But we think the window's closing, so we might have to do it, sooner rather than later.
That is Hollywood speak for nothing at all is happening.
Well, this has been, in the works to some extent for a pretty long time, because we actually had the writer of the first Real Steel, same guy who wrote that Denzel Washington drunk pilot movie.
Flight.
Yeah.
That actually was.
I couldn't remember
liked
Flight. Wow.
You got drunk pilot though.
Holy. In any case, we had him here, over at CineFix a while ago. I'd say close to 2 years ago, and he was saying in that interview, annotation, and he said in that interview back then that there was already talk of doing Real Steel 2, and everyone involved with the first one wanted to do it.
Well, it made a bunch of money.
Yeah,
it did
it
really
made
well
money.
overseas.
People,
And look,
there was goodwill for it.
It was a great sports movie. It had all the right.
It was a
sports-
solid 7.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're using a lot of really strong adjectives.
No,
Solid
listen,
7,
listen,
and it had robots punching each other and Hugh Jackman being great.
It
was
had everything
fine.
that a sports movie needs to have. It's got this great redemption story. It's got a father-son thing going on.
And robots.
And the sport happens to be robot boxing.
I'm on board for the
Robot
robot boxing.
boxing.
I'm on board with the robot boxing. The movie was. I think we talked a little bit about this in the fall lineup. I think it's my general feelings about Sean Levy. It's fine. And Real Steel was.
I'll take it. I will
Fine is
take
good enough.
Real
for
Steel
sure.
was fine to terrible.
No, it was
That's
on a.
quite a spectrum.
Okay,
That's as far as you
if
can
fine is a block somewhere in between 1 to 10, where would fine be? What numbers
think-
on 1 to 10? What numbers
I
would
think
fine
it is
encompass?
like 4 to 6.
4 to 6, 4 to
6.
7.
Oh, that low?
4 to 6.
I usually don't
Because
say...
1 is just a collection of images
See, that's
that
the
are
thing, I think-
technically a movie.
Yes, one.
One is basically like a PowerPoint presentation.
Right. A GIF can be
So-
a 1.
So the intern.
Okay, so if 1 is a PowerPoint presentation, then maybe fine is 5 to 7 then.
No, fine. I'm gonna go with 4 to 6. 4 to 6 is fine.
Look, 6 and up, I think.
No, 6 and up is good.
So like 10. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
I would have
good.
to say 4 is my side.
Four's
That's a
like-
4.
Yeah,
Side.
four's like I went to see that and I'm not mad, but I'm
a little mad.
But I'm gonna forget about it very
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah. 5
Yeah.
is like, I saw that. 6
Yeah.
is like, it's fine.
Yeah.
7 is like, that was all right. That was
But
all right.
once you
should-
start
you
getting
should
in-
maybe see that. It's
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
So it's a 7 then. I was going to give it a 6, but you just...
It's a 4.
It's a 7.
I'm,
a solid
I'm a little
7.
mad. Just a little bit.
All right. Okay, moving on.
Damn,
This one,
4.
this one I saved for last because we can actually talk about this one a little bit. Bill Murray mentioned, he sort of gave his endorsement to the female version of Ghostbusters 3 that is reportedly being considered at Sony right now. He did it in like this really hilarious old man sexist way. That was like, yeah, girls are funny, right?
No, it was legit
he-
because he actually had
Yeah.
a couple of names that weren't just like, I don't know, the Bridesmaids girls.
Yeah, no. He
I
was.
mean, it
he
was
could
the
tell that
Bridesmaids
he-
girls, but...
Right. But it wasn't dismissively stated that way.
Right. So he mentioned Melissa McCarthy. He mentioned Kristen Wiig. He mentioned Emma Stone. He mentioned Linda Cardellini, which I thought he mentioned that girl. I like this girl, Linda Cardellini. This girl who's like she's a 40-year-old woman.
Yeah.
She did like 130 episodes
Like
on
it should
ER.
have. It should have been like Linda Cardellini, and I like this girl Emma Stone.
Yeah.
But somehow
Somehow it was like I like this girl, Linda Cardellini.
I mean, okay, leaving aside Bill Murray's delivery, which is admittedly hilarious.
Well,
like
it is standard Bill Murray.
This is a very good cast. I'm behind this cast. I don't know if I'm behind this cast for Ghostbusters 3. I feel like I have the same reaction to this cast in Ghostbusters 3 as Cruise does to the whole idea of Top Gun 2. Like, why can't these 4 ladies just make a movie? And
Where they bust ghosts.
This is a great cast
Yeah.
for Real Steel Magnolias.
oh,
Nice.
that was a solid 7.
Nice.
I feel like an all-female team feels a little bit gimmicky.
It doesn't
and
even
I'm-
get all
It feels
female.
super
That's-
dated too. It's sort of like
Yeah.
when they had like the Chipettes on Alvin and the Chipmunks. It's like, what the are you doing?
It feels more sexist
Yeah.
than
Right.
it does like.
It's more sexist than progressive by far.
Right.
I don't know why
it's
they
like-
can't just mix it up.
Yeah, no,
Right.
no.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I like the idea of these 4 or any combination within being like part of the new Ghostbusters squad. Maybe it's 2 dudes and 3 girls. Maybe it's 4 girls. I don't care.
Everybody
But
does.
like,
One
Like
girl and 30 guys.
It kind of like, it feels like maybe Bridesmaids and The Heat and movies like that have sort of like drawn a line in the sand about like, no, it's either got to be a bunch of funny girls or a bunch of funny guys. We can't just have a bunch of funny people
Right.
in
That
these
doesn't
big
make
in these
any
big
sense.
movies, which doesn't make any sense. But yeah, that's my thing about it. It just feels like a gimmick, and they're
Right.
doing it for no reason at all. It's like just make a good. If you're gonna make Ghostbusters 3, just make it good.
Right.
And honestly,
And some of them might be women, and some of them might be dudes, and who gives
Sure.
a shit? Like,
Exactly.
it's just a good movie.
Just as long as it's
Throw in
good.
a dog. I'm cool with that.
I do.
Oh yeah,
Ghost.
yeah.
Dog Busters.
There you go.
Wait,
No,
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 then they're
no.
killing
Oh,
dogs.
he's Ghost.
Airbud goes paranormal.
No,
Right.
his name is Buster, and he's Ghostbuster.
Get out.
Worst of
God damn it! Somebody wrote that onto paper right the second you said that.
Now it's a thing.
Oh man. Well, look, the only, and going back to Lord and Miller. Honestly, Lord and Miller are the only dudes around, only filmmakers at all that I wouldn't be concerned about Ghostbusters 3. Anybody, if it moves forward with anybody else at the helm, I'm gonna be like, I don't know. But those guys, I think would make a great Ghostbusters 3.
If Lord and Miller made Ghostbusters 3 and they were told they needed an all-female cast of Ghostbusters, half the movie would be making fun of the fact that there's an all-female cast of Ghostbusters.
Well, they'd say no.
That's true. They probably
They'd say no to begin with, probably. But
So Clint is
I don't
saying
know.
he just doesn't want this to happen.
I don't want
I'm
Paul
only
Feig
cool.
to make Ghostbusters 3. I went to see Ghostbusters on the big screen again last weekend, and it was.
Thanks for inviting us.
It was fun. I went. And my wife and I took our mothers to go see Ghostbusters.
Thanks for not inviting us.
It was adorable.
Yeah.
And we'll end it right there.
I'm haunting here.
I think the sequel bucket is empty for now.
Boo.
No, it was a terrible fun.
Yeah, Ghostbuster the dog was.
That was the height of my
Yeah, that was it. That was it. He peaked back in 2014 when he
I
said
can just
Ghostbusters
see
the dog. So let us know what you think about all this stuff. How did you like the sequel bucket? Huh? That's a fun phrase. Let us know in the comments down below. Click like, subscribe. Come back next time for more movie news on CineFix Now. I think I said all that right.
Yeah, I think so.
Sounded
Yeah.
good.
Close enough.
I mumbled through.
No
a
one
big
watches
chunk
to
of
this point.
it. It is late in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay. Cut.